What happened to the most powerful man you've never heard of in the final, chaotic days of World War II? As Berlin crumbled under Soviet assault, the highest-ranking figures of the Nazi regime either fell, were captured, or took their own lives. All except one. Heinrich, the head of the Gestapo, the dreaded secret police, vanished without a trace. This is the story of the man who held the secrets of the Third Reich, and how he became history's most notorious ghost. Unlike many of his fellow high-ranking Nazis, Heinrich Müller wasn't a rabid ideologue from the start. His journey began in the trenches of World War I, where he served with distinction as a pilot in the Royal Bavarian Army. After the war, he joined the Munich police, building a reputation not as a fanatic, but as a quiet, ruthlessly efficient bureaucrat. He was a master of files, records, and organization skills that would soon be put to a terrifying use when the Nazis came to power in 1933. Müller's cold professionalism caught the eye of Reinhard Heydrich, one of the architects of the Holocaust. Müller joined the Gestapo, and his rise was meteoric. He wasn't the face of the regime, but he was its engine room. By 1939, he was the head of Amt IV of the Reich Security Main Office of the Gestapo. From his desk in Berlin, he coordinated a web of terror that stretched across occupied Europe. He was the man who oversaw the suppression of all opposition, the persecution of minorities, and the enforcement of the regime's brutal will. He wasn't a politician, he was the ultimate policeman, and his office was the nerve center of Nazi oppression. Müller's influence was immense. He was directly involved in planning key operations and was instrumental in the investigation following the failed assassination attempt on Hitler in July 1944. He personally led the brutal interrogations of the plotters, rounding up thousands of suspects. His loyalty and efficiency were unquestionable, which is why he was one of the last men standing by Hitler's side. As the Red Army closed in on Berlin in April 1945, the Führerbunker became a subterranean tomb for the dying regime. While others fled or wavered, Müller remained. He was a fixture in the bunker's final days, continuing his duties, providing intelligence updates, and even interrogating Hitler's own brother-in-law, Hermann Fegelein, for desertion just hours before Hitler's suicide. Müller was one of the few who knew the regime's deepest, darkest secrets, right up to the very end. He was last reliably seen in the bunker complex on May 1st, 1945, the day after Hitler's death. He reportedly told his pilot that the whole circus was over and that he had no intention of being captured by the Russians. Then, he walked out into the war-torn streets of Berlin and vanished from history. In the aftermath of the war, the Allies launched one of the largest manhunts in history. They caught Eichmann, Speer, Gring, and countless others, but Müller was nowhere to be found. Allied intelligence agencies, including the CIA and MI6, chased down every lead for decades. Was he killed in the final battle for Berlin? His body was never identified. The theories were endless and tantalizing. One popular theory was that he defected to the Soviet Union. And as the head of the Gestapo for the KGB, he would have been an intelligence prize of unimaginable value. Did he trade his secrets for a new life behind the Iron Curtain? Some reports placed him in Moscow, working as an advisor, but no concrete proof ever surfaced. Another persistent theory was that he escaped to South America, following the infamous ratlins used by other Nazis like Adolf Eichmann and Joseph Mengele. With his administrative genius and access to Gestapo resources, Müller would have been perfectly equipped to create a new identity and disappear into the welcoming arms of sympathetic regimes. Whispers and alleged sightings came from Argentina, Paraguay, and Brazil for years, but each one led to a dead end. He was a phantom, always one step ahead of his pursuers. Over the years, various clues have emerged, each promising a resolution, but each ultimately deepening the mystery. In 1963, a body was exhumed from a mass grave in Berlin, believed to be Müller's. It was even issued a death certificate. However, years later, investigators revealed that the body was not his. In fact, the skeleton belonged to at least 3 different people. The grave was a dead end. Then came the declassification of CIA files in the early 2000s. These documents revealed the sheer scale of the post-war search and the frustration of intelligence agencies. They detailed interrogations of captured Nazi officials, all of whom had different stories about Müller's final hours. Some claimed he died in a breakout attempt. Others were convinced he had a prearranged escape plan. Adolf Eichmann, before his own execution, told Israeli interrogators he believed Müller was still alive. The files confirmed that the U.S. was actively hunting for him well into the 1960s, even exploring the possibility that he was hiding in plain sight in West Germany. Yet, every lead went cold. What makes Heinrich Müller's disappearance so unique and chilling is the absolute lack of closure. For every other major Nazi leader, we know their fate. They were tried at Nuremberg, they escaped and were later caught, or their deaths were confirmed. But Müller simply ceased to exist. There is no body, no grave, no credible final sighting. He was the ultimate spy master, the man who knew everyone's secrets, and it seems he used that knowledge to orchestrate his own perfect vanishing act. Did he die anonymously in the Rubel of Berlin, or did he successfully escape, living out his days in quiet obscurity, forever holding the final secrets of the Third Reich? The truth, it seems, disappeared with him into the chaos of May 1945, leaving behind only questions and one of the most compelling unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Thanks for watching. If you find these historical mysteries as fascinating as I do, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the unknown. See you next time.